Detectives investigating Caroline Hogg's murder trace a vital witness. They're flying to Germany to see him. President Reagan summons 2 senior Israeli ministers to Washington. 2 youths plunged to their deaths after a chase through a Cornish resort. Steve Ovett pulls out of today's big race. And the Bristol man who's found the family he never knew he had. A man who was adopted when only a few weeks old has been celebrating his 47th birthday by meeting 5 of his brothers for the first time. David Kitchen of Yatton near Bristol only discovered his adoption certificate and the existence of his brothers when his adoptive father died recently. Graham Purchase reports.
As far as David Kitchen is concerned, this was the birthday present of a lifetime, after being brought up as an only adopted child and reaching the age of 47 before discovering that he has 6 natural brothers, 5 of whom were reunited today.
Couldn't be anybody else. Hello. Welcome. Hello. Glad to see you.
Well, it's like Christmas and birthdays and getting married and having children all on the same day and all at the same time. Yeah. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah. Were you able to recognize these chaps?
No trouble. My aunt had a photograph which she kindly gave me the other day, and I've been looking at nothing else ever since.
Do you resent the fact that your adoptive parents didn't tell you were adopted and that
Not
you had
a
a
bit.
family of your own?
No, not a bit, because they brought me up as their own son, and they were loving and kind and everything that you could wish for, and there's no question. They're both dead now, and of course it's because they're both dead that I've been able to get access to all this information.
It's just incredible. We just can't believe that, a family can be so lucky. And it is luck, really, the people that we've managed to speak to who've remembered, and the links that are there, having to have found the links. The one Aunt Julia who held the secret, we found her at Burnham-on-Sea, which is so ridiculously close,
David Kitchen's only regret is that he hasn't been able to track down a 6th brother named Keith, who was also adopted, and like David, until a short time ago, doesn't yet realize that he has a large family of his own.
What a nice way to end the weekend news. That's all. Good night.
Tonight's presenters, Gerald Haycock and Vivian Krieger.
Good evening, and in tonight's programme, the demolition of the St Anne's board mills in Bristol. Local councillors say the work is releasing dangerous levels of asbestos. The VC-10's taking on a new lease of life as supertanker. And the man who's met the brothers he never knew existed.
An engineer from Yatton is today recovering from the shock of a lifetime, meeting 4 brothers he didn't know he had. Until recently, David Kitchen thought he was the only child of the people who brought him up. But after they died, he found his adoption papers and discovered that far from being alone, he has 6 brothers.
Well done. Yes. Well done.
For David Kitchen, it was a double celebration. On his 47th birthday, he was to meet 4 of his brothers for the first time.
I'm not dreaming, am I? I mean, I'm not going to wake up in a couple of minutes.
He wakes up every morning with this big grin on his face.
And if anybody stands still for more than a couple of minutes, I tell them the story. I don't know how many times I've told it now. I keep getting dragged off to be told, to be shown to somebody else.
It was, David said, an extraordinary feeling, walking out to meet the brothers who for most of your life you never knew existed.
Hello, Nick.
That's right.
Mine. You'll have to be in. Couldn't be anybody else. Hello. Welcome. Hello.
Glad to see you.
Hello, niece.
Well, it's like Christmas and birthdays and getting married and having children all on the same day and all at the same time. Yeah. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah. Were you able to recognise these chaps?
Oh, no trouble, no trouble. My aunt had a photograph which she kindly gave me the other day, and I've been looking at nothing else ever since.
He's just so overwhelmed, as he says. You know, it's like having all our happiest events rolled into one day. We just couldn't believe that it could happen. You know, it's so incredible that he could have found five brothers, all the same marriage. The most we could have hoped for was had he been a minor teenage indiscretion, but his mother might have married and he'd got some half brothers, and this is really what we were looking for. It's just incredible. We just can't believe that, a family can be so lucky, and it is luck really, the people that we've managed to speak to who've remembered, and the links that are there, having to have found the links. The one Aunt Julia who held the secret, we found her at Burnham-on-Sea, which is so ridiculously close,
Was he upset when he discovered he was adopted?
Not upset, I think stunned. He'd had his one or two suspicions. His place of birth hadn't been quite right, having been brought up in Yorkshire.
Do you feel you missed out on a lot, not knowing your own family?
Well, yes, inevitably. I was brought up as an only child. I always wished I'd had some sisters or something, or brothers. These will do. But there's one little cloud on the horizon, and that's Keith, who was adopted at the same time as I was, way back in 1936, and he's disappeared without trace.
Another brother in America is still on his way to meet David, so Keith will then be the only missing link in this extraordinary story caused by family complications half a century ago.
A happy ending, that report from Graham Purchase.
Barry Took now helps to uncover another top secret.
It's Top Secrets with Chris Kelly, Joanna Benjamin, Alfred Marks, and Lindsay DePaul. And now here's the man with all the secrets, Barry Took.
Hello and welcome to Top Secret, the game where it's fun to find out. Well, it's time to meet our final guest on this week's Top Secret. Well, do tell us your name and where you come from, please.
David Franklin, and I come from Bristol.
Well, let's tell everyone at home and in our studio audience what David Franklin's secret is. Okay, it's your turn to start again. First, a clue, and it's this. He found a lot where he thought there was nothing.
David, is this treasure of some sort?
No. In a sense, it is.
You mean it has a value?
Oh, yes.
Was it buried somewhere?
No.
You're allowed to confuse them as much as you like, but I can correct you from time to time.
But you found something of value that surprised you and you were able to make some money from it, is that right?
Not make money from, no.
It's a spiritual value.
A spiritual value. Was it something to do with an ancestor of yours?
Yes.
Was it a possession of this ancestor?
The cuckoo says we move on, so we may never know the answer to that.
Cuckoo says yes.
No, there's no possessions involved.
Possession. Is it a person of some sort?
Yes.
Person from way back, or?
No, a person still living.
Still living. A relative that you didn't know you had?
Yes.
Twin brother?
No.
More, so closer than that?
We can't be much closer than a twin brother.
Well, the audience sort of half clapped. Or
yes, well, it was a half-brother, they probably thought. No. I'm sorry to be facetious, but it's just your smile turns me on.
David wasn't, in fact, a twin sister.
No.
But he was a human twin we're talking about.
Not a twin.
Not a twin, a brother.
A brother.
A brother. And you didn't know of his existence, is that correct?
That's right.
Older than you?
Yes.
Were you told that you'd meet this man by a clairvoyant or something?
No.
Found a lot. You meet him at an auction or something, did you?
On this program, anything is possible. I think the clue means more than one.
Is it double entendre with the word lot? I mean, is it a...
No, not really.
No?
It means more than one, actually.
Oh, thank you for that. Oh, gosh.
Several brothers.
Thank you. He says, which I'm going to pretend I'm saying, did you have several brothers at your time? Were you one of quins or something, or twins, or more than one?
I don't have a twin.
Quinn?
No.
Gosh.
It's not as close as that. You're so much on it. I don't think we can really draw it out any further, because you really have got it when you say more than one brother, several brothers. I mean,
were you all fostered out or adopted as children?
I was, yes.
I'm taking up Lindsay's time.
No, I mean, you have solved the problem. Will you tell them, David, actually what your secret is?
Well, until about 3 months ago, I thought I was an only child, and now I find I've got 6 brothers.
Oh, my word.
6 brothers, how's that? I mean, you don't, I think they, as anything, actually got it. Would you like to tell us your story? How did this all come about?
Well, I discovered when my adopted father died that I'd been his adopted son, and I found my adoption papers, and that led to the discovery of my proper birth certificate, which in turn led to the discovery of my family and 6 brothers. One, like me, was also adopted, and in the last few weeks we've also located him.
Great. But
so there are 7 of us.
How did you locate them in the first place? What was the train of events?
My wife traced my late mother's sister in Stratford-on-Avon.
Yeah.
And we went to see her, and then she produced some photographs showing the 5 brothers that she knew about, and we all met, and it just happened that the day we all met was my birthday.
And I wish we had all the brothers, but we don't in the studio, but we've got some of the brothers.
3 of them along.
3 of them. Could we meet the brothers now, ladies and gentlemen? Ian, how did you feel when it turned out that you had a brother?
Surprised at first, but absolutely marvellous afterwards. Most marvellous moment in my life, really.
Really? Long lost brother. It's a rare thing.
It is.
And you're all getting together fairly soon, I think.
That's right, yes. We all met initially, well, all of us, except for Philip, who was in America at the time. We met David's on his birthday. And Keith, the one we just discovered, or rediscovered, we're meeting up with him in the very near future. We don't know exactly when, but the sooner the better.
Twins? What you're...
Astonished.
Astonished? And
well, I became a 7th son, so I was quite amazed by
That's lovely. And are you all married? I mean, we don't have to find 7 brides for 7 brothers.
No, not quite.
No, it's a very warm and delightful story, and I'm glad you shared it with us. Thank you very much for being our guest on Top Secret. Well, that's all we had time for today, so thanks to our contestants and to our panel, Chris and Floella, Alfred and Lindsay. And from me, until next time, take care and good night.
Now on BBC One, it's time for Points West. Tonight's presenters, Gillian Miles and Gerald Haycock.
Good evening, and on tonight's programme, back on the rails again, 17 years after Beeching Templecombe Station reopens. delays in building the Sand Bay sea defences. And two brothers meet each other for the first time.
Probably be appropriate if we could find one.
An engineer from Yatton near Bristol today met the last of 6 brothers he didn't know he had. David Kitchen wasn't aware he'd been adopted until he discovered his adoption certificate last May. That was the first shock. The second was finding that he had 6 brothers. Graham Purchase takes up the story.
David Kitchen and his wife Sylvia have spent 4 months tracing his brothers, but the last one, who, like David, was adopted when just a baby, could not be found, until his wife heard about the story on the BBC and contacted the Kitchens. How do you feel?
Well, sort of like a strawberry jelly, I think, at the moment.
Turned out to be a boat transporter from the Midlands who finally met David when he made a delivery to Bristol Docks today.
Oh, how are we? Oh, very well, thanks. Go on down. Well, that's the set, isn't it? Yeah. Shattered. Absolutely shattered. Because I got no idea. Just, you know, it isn't as if they were lost. I just never knew we had them. And well, I'm stuff shaking.
Well, now you've met him, do you think he's worth having?
Oh, I should think so. we look very similar.
How are you going to catch up on all these years you haven't known each other?
I've no idea. We'll just try. We shall just take it a day at a time.
David, now you've met your last long-lost brother.
Yes.
What are your reactions?
Well, it's the most wonderful thing. We never thought it could possibly happen because we'd just got nothing to go on at all. And the other 5 were dead easy to find because, I mean, we knew what we were looking for. Well, indeed, you know, we had some positive evidence for them, but, you know, all we knew was that Gavin, sorry, had disappeared at a very early age. And, well, you know, unless he found us, we couldn't think there'd be any way that we'd be able to trace him.
How much difference is it going to make to family life now that David's got 6 brothers he didn't know he had?
Well, it's already made a difference to our lives. We've been in quite close contact with all of the brothers since we met in the last couple of months, and I don't think life will ever be back to what we knew as normal. It's lovely. It really is, yes.
Story.
Barry Took now helps to uncover another top secret.
It's Top Secrets with Chris Kelly, Cruella Benjamin, Alfred Marks, and Lindsay DePaul. And now here's the man with all the secrets, Barry Took.
Hello and welcome to Top Secret, the game where it's fun to find out. And a special welcome to Lindsay DePaul, who joins us for the first time tonight on the panel. Alfred, you're a very lucky man, you know. You must admit that we always surround you with beautiful women.
Absolutely.
First it was Jan and Lisa, now Fluella and Lindsay. You seem to get on so well with them all.
Well, I've discovered a new aftershave that seems to attract women very strongly. It smells of money.
It clearly works. Right, are you ready to play the game? Of course you are. You have no option. Let's meet our first guest, because they've got a secret. Right, on this occasion, I'm not going to ask you to give us your names. I'm just going to call you Mr. A and Mr. B. Is that okay? That's fine. Now, for you at home and our studio audience, here comes their secret. But if you want to play along with the panel, then close your eyes now. All right, open your eyes. Now, it's Chris Kelly to start the questioning, but first a clue, and it's this. Panel, it's a case of history repeating itself.
Gentlemen, are you related?
No, not at all.
No.
But even so, do you have the same name?
No.
Do you each have the name of a historical figure?
Yes.
Were these figures associated in history? Were they...
The cuckoo always goes at the crucial time, you see. Cruella, it's all yours.
So, historical name. Were you born on the same day?
No.
No, the same date? No?
No. I don't think so, no.
Don't think so. Is it far back in history? Way back in history?
Do you mean us or the characters?
The character, the historical character.
It wouldn't be that wrong.
Cromwell time? Or further back than that?
Well, way back.
Way back.
Yes, it's way back. I mean, it's way back to Alfred Marx. About Alfred Marx.
Yes, it's way back. It's not. It's historical. It's not prehistory. It's historical. English history. We're looking for. Harold.
Yes, darling. Oh, I'm sorry.
King Harold. I was looking for.
Well, you won't find him here.
They're not biblical names, are they, really, Charles?
No.
No, you said English history, didn't you? You did say English history. That's the one subject I was lousy at, English history. Isn't it terrible?
Well, the cuckoo has chimed. Let's move to Lindsay de
I'd like to try and determine the century. You say it was before Cromwell? Before the 1100s, 1000s or so? My goodness. Oh, goodness. My history wasn't too wonderful either.
But it's
was it regal at all? Were you kings or...
no, not regal, I wouldn't say. But it's fair to say that one...
It's very confusing too, because it's really only one.
One is a name, and the other is a rank.
Of course.
Or office. Now, you've all had a chance to go. Now, it's a free-for-all time.
Was this an outlaw?
Yes.
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
Yes. There we go. And not the name of the title. Well done. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. You're well earned, chaps. You've got it between you. Now you are
Robin Hood.
You are Robin Hood, and you are.
I'm the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Good heavens.
This is Councillor Birkinshaw, who is currently the Sheriff of Nottingham, and you've got your finery behind the scenery here. Would you like to go off and get into it so we can see what the Sheriff of Nottingham really looks like?
Thank you.
The first time on the programme. Off you go. So I'll talk to Robin Hood. Pull yourself up to the table, Robin.
Right.
Now, Robin, anybody can go around saying they're Robin Hood, but can you prove it?
Oh, yes.
What proof have you got? A birth certificate. Robin Hood, boy. Yes, that's right.
I hope so.
26th of May 1951, that's your birthday. Registration district Nottingham, sub-district Nottingham West. Well, that's absolute proof to me. Does suit you, does suit you. Who's come on with you? Somebody come on, as a juggler, come on with you.
Yeah, that's George, my attendant.
George, oh hello George. What are you carrying, may I ask?
These are the sheriff's maces.
The sheriff's maces?
Yes, these are used several times a year, mainly Crown Court, and of course every council meeting, first Monday of each month.
Yes, what do you do, bash people with them?
Oh no indeed, no.
They look like Olympic torches. Nice. How long, I mean this office goes back many years. When was the original Sheriff of Nottingham?
Well, it dates back to possibly the 12th century.
12th century.
The records are 1449.
Yes.
And
what did he do then? What did the sheriff do then?
His duties were like the tax collector of today, a very unpopular man, and he kept discipline in the cities and collected the tithes and taxes for the monarch.
Very good. Well, what do you do today?
Well, today, unfortunately, those duties have all gone, and now it's more or less a civic office where I help the Lord Mayor to promote Nottingham.
Thank you, the Sheriff of Nottingham, Councillor Birkinshaw, and thank you, Robin Hood, for being our guests on Top Secret. Our next guest is ready and waiting. Will you tell us your name and where you come from, please?
My name is Kim Taylor and I come from Chelsea.
Now, for you at home and our studio audience, here comes Kim Taylor's secret. Eyes open. Luella, it's your turn to start the questioning. First a clue, and it's this. It's her business, but it's also a duty.
Business, but also a duty. Is it designing of some sort?
No.
Is it so you work at Your Secret, do you?
Yes.
In Chelsea?
Yes.
Is it to do with flowers?
No.
Is it to do with something that's funny?
No.
No? It's a serious business then, is it?
Yes.
Is it something that any girl would like to work at?
Would any girl like to work at it, do you think?
No.
No.
It's a specialised sort of thing. Anyway, the cuckoo's gone, we turn to Alfred.
Hello, Kim. They smiled, but they also had some sort of admiration. There was a little giggle. Business, but also a duty. You're not the only woman in the Chelsea Pensioners Hospital, are you? Is this a unique job? Are you the only one doing this?
Yeah.
Is it a service you give to people?
Not really, no.
People come to you, or
Yes.
do you go to them?
People come to me.
You have a shop?
No.
A stall?
No.
They contact you by telephone?
No, it's a sort of shop, but it's not called a shop. It's called something else.
It's a stall, a barrow.
No, it's a bit bigger than a barrow. In fact, quite a lot bigger than a barrow. And it's the profession that we're looking for, Lindsay, before your turn.
You work alone?
Yes.
And does this take training?
Yes.
How long was your training?
4 years altogether.
And you go to a college to train?
Yeah.
And it's unusual for a girl to do this?
Yes.
So it's a college for men?
No.
So very few people took the course that Kim took.
I see. And you don't, well, I'd like to tell me where you actually work. You don't work in a shop, they come to you.
Yeah.
And you perform this in the street?
No.
Saved by the cuckoo. They doesn't do it in the street. It's, I don't know what to do to help you without giving it away.
Is it customs and import duty? But in Chelsea?
Yeah. It's customs, but not import.
Is it to do with the river?
No.
I hope not.
And men usually men do it. Nothing to do with sport?
No.
Is it...
Is it to do with liquor?
Yeah.
Do you go along to bonded liquor houses and test the scotch?
No.
I would like to. But it's something like that. I mean, it's to do with liquor, it's to do with whiskey or spirits.
No. Not spirits.
Wine?
Anybody like no? Have a wild guess. It's
liqueurs?
Not
No.
bigger than that. Much bigger.
Are you a brewer?
Right on the cuckoo, you've got it. You are what, in fact?
I'm a master brewer.
A master brewer. That's what she does for a living. And how did you come to become a master brewer?
Well, originally I did a degree in chemistry, and then I followed that up by a master's in brewing science.
And where do you practice this?
At the Orange Brewery in London.
That's where you brew, and also it's a public house.
Yeah.
So
The,
that
the
was
brewery's,
sense
the brewery's in the cellar of the public house.
Do you take your work home with you?
Your pub in Chelsea, I mean, what is fascinating, you must get all sorts of people in there, show business
We
people
do.
and...
And Chelsea pensioners and
Oh,
that
well.
sort of thing. Yeah.
That's obviously a cue for me to say, well, hiding behind the scenery now, we have the lovely Fenella G and some of her boyfriends. Well, there you are, and there are the lads. Well done, chaps. How nice to see you all here, frothing tankards.
What have we got? Have we got the SW1 or the SW2 here?
Well, there was a mixture of both came, so you've probably got the one.
Oh, you don't trust
There's
us.
SW1, SW, I don't know. This is different strengths.
The
I think.
2 is very dangerous.
Are you a big beer
I've
drinker?
become a beer drinker
Really?
since I've discovered this stuff.
Oh, I see.
Never
But
have
you don't
been.
look, I mean, you think of beer drinkers as being rather my shape.
I'm hiding it.
Oh, are you really? And you go to the pub regularly?
I do. I don't even live nearby. I travel across London to go.
Anyway, thank you for being our special guest, Fenella G. Thank you, gentlemen. It's really nice to have you on board. And thank you, Kim Taylor, for being our guest on Secret. Well, let's meet our third guest now. Will you tell us your name, sir, and where you come from?
My name is Albert Pridey, and I come from Gloucestershire.
And here, for everybody except the panel, is Albert Friday's secret, coming up on the screen now. And the true panel is this. What happened to these ladies wasn't a bit ladylike. And Alfred, it's your turn to start.
Hello, Albert. Did this happen in Gloucestershire?
Yes.
Was it a one-off? Was it an outing of some sort?
Not really.
Was it a bit ladylike? Were they in drag? Were they all dressed as fellows?
They were all dressed alike.
Oh, it was all dressed alike?
They were.
Are we talking about the human ladies, or are we talking about animal ladies?
Animal ladies.
You know the fellow that put the stockings on those cows for that commercial, yeah.
No, the cuckoo's gone. It's Lindsay.
Is this a hobby of yours?
Well, not really.
You do it, this is your living?
Yeah.
So are you a farmer of some sort? And something happened to your animals which wasn't ladylike. They were cows because they're female. Should pull the udder leg, shouldn't I? So what could happen? Did they fall on their... excuse me.
Bums is the word.
Yes. Bums too, sorry. Does it involve a bull of some sort?
No, don't go down that road.
Albert, was this a stunt you organised?
No, certainly not.
It was an accident?
Yes.
You're doubtful about that?
I am.
Was it at milking time?
No, no.
Did it happen indoors or out?
Outdoors.
Was water involved?
Not really.
Not really.
Not really.
Not really. Were there any people around at the time?
No.
If there were people around, maybe it would have happened to her.
So, water wasn't involved. Was milk involved?
Not really.
Not really. Cows, there are cows in a field, they're in the field.
Well, yes.
And they were dressed up in drag. Yes?
No. You're miles off. Everybody like to have a shot at it.
Unladylike.
Obviously unusual for cows to do this.
Was it a natural phenomenon that occurred?
Well, yes, it was.
A natural phenomenon. Have you ever seen it happen before?
I know, they ordered the poo at the same time.
Thank heavens the cuckoo has gone. You don't want that sort of play school language on this show.
It's supposed to be lucky, though. It's lucky.
Not if it falls on you.
You're luckier if you're in Texas, however. Albert, you've beaten the panel. Tell them your secret.
I had a herd of drunken cows.
Now, would you like to tell us the story, how it happened?
Well, yes. It should never have happened, obviously, but we were feeding some bad hay with sugar beet, and they were gorging it down and no trouble at all. And I went away for a day, you see, and met some friends and had a few drinks at night and came back home about midnight and met my son who was in charge of the cows. And I said, everything all right? He said, yes. He said, 2 cows fell down tonight with a chill, but we put them in the barn. And I thought, well, that's a bit funny, but can't do much at midnight, so off to bed I went. Next morning, 5:30, he was shaking me by the shoulder. Dad, come quick, the cows are dying. They won't get up. I said, you must be joking. So I shot out of bed and went there. Sure enough, there were 16 cows lying down, and the rest was wobbling. And the ones that were lying down were just as if you'd gone round with a mallet and tapped them on the head. They were laying with their legs out behind them and back, over and across. One got his leg on the top of his head. I didn't know what was wrong.
Give a cow with a hangover.
Hang on, guys. But didn't it strike you when you heard Knees Up Mother Brown coming to the field?
What did the milk taste like?
Milk stout, I think.
Well done, Alfred. Yeah. And well done, Albert. Thank you very much for telling us your story, and thanks for being our guest on Top Secret. Albert Friday, thank you very much indeed. Well, our next guest is here and ready to challenge the panel. Will you tell us your name, sir, and where you come from?
Paul Emery from Shoreham-by-Sea in Sussex.
And here for you at home and our studio audience is Paul Emery's Secret, coming up on your screens now. Well, that's the secret, and here for you, Lindsay, is the clue. He came to London and won his bet. Go, Lindsay.
Is this something that you do as a hobby?
From time to time, yes.
It must be something quite impressive because the audience don't, ooh, so it isn't something funny, it's something that you've done that's good or heroic.
Correct.
And...
Well, I'm not going to argue about heroic. If you believe it's heroic...
I apologise, I didn't hear the word.
Ah, no. But
No, it wasn't particularly heroic.
It was brave, but not
it was
in the
something that
sense of...
demanded some sort of strength? Or
Yes.
Physical strength? Or
Yes.
strength? Physical strength?
Yes.
You don't think of this as being something that requires strength, but it does.
So it's something that requires strength, is not in heroic, but is in some way impressive. Is it something to do with the sea, because you come from the sea, or is it something to do with London?
Something to do with London.
And it's fair to say, panel, it's to do with the arts. Chris?
Is it a performing art rather than, say, painting?
Yes.
Were you on the ground when you achieved this, or off it?
On the ground. Perhaps a little bit raised.
A little bit raised from the ground?
Yes.
Nothing to do with circus?
No.
Or dancing of any sort?
No.
Was it in a theatre that you did it?
Yes. To all intents and purposes, a theatre of sorts, yes.
Was this a...
Yes, you're getting on so well. It isn't really a theatre. A curtain does not go up and down. It's not theatre in that sense. It is a place where...
An arena of some
an arena,
So
yes.
it's something to do with karate or judo, is it? Is it a martial art?
No.
So is it a sort of like acting?
Yes, there is an element of acting involved.
Are you a musician?
Yes.
With lots of instruments? About 50 instruments?
Just as you're getting...
Possibly 60.
Yes, I was going to say, how many instruments were involved actually? 60, I see.
Yes.
Anyway, the cuckoo's gone and it's Alfred's turn.
Would it help us if we discovered what the bet was? Would that help?
Yes, that's the answer. Oh. So it would help you enormously.
And 60 musicians. It can only be an orchestra, can't it? It's got to be an orchestra. What was the bet with the orchestra? That they could all play in tune.
I did try to achieve that, yes.
Did you conduct an orchestra? Something like the LSO, and somebody said you'll never do it, and you came up and did.
Correct, yes, that's it.
Well, I think you've got it for all intents and purposes. It's not the, the fine tuning, but that's the answer. Your secret is what, actually, Paul?
That somebody bet me £10 about 8 years ago that I wouldn't conduct at the Royal Albert Hall before the age of 40.
Well.
And I achieved it with 10 days to go.
When did you first conceive the desire to become a conductor? It's not sort of an everyday thing, is it?
Well, I belonged to the Royal Chorus Society in the early 60s under Sir Malcolm Sargent, and I always wondered what it was like to be down there conducting at the Royal Albert Hall.
And you practiced as a child? You learned to read music and
Yes, I started forming societies in the south of England from 1969.
Adrian Bolt, the late Sir Adrian Bolt, comes into it somewhere. What's that?
Yes, so I went up to see him to see how best I could achieve my ends, and he said, if you want to become a conductor, hire the Royal Albert Hall. So I took his advice.
Oh, I see. It wasn't... was it with Adrian Bolt that you had the bet?
No, it wasn't. It was,
I see. No.
Just another sort of thing.
Yes,
And I found out that when I went to collect my £10 that he'd passed away 2 years ago.
It's smashing to have had you on the programme.
Thank you.
Paul Emery, thank you for being our guest on Top Secret. it's time to meet our final guest on this week's Top Secret. Well, do tell us your name and where you come from, please.
David Franklin, and I come from Bristol.
Well, let's tell everyone at home and in our studio audience what David Franklin's secret is. Okay, it's your turn to start again. First, a clue, and it's this. He found a lot where he thought there was nothing.
David, is this treasure of some sort?
No. In a sense, it is.
You mean it has a value?
Oh, yes.
Was it buried somewhere?
No.
You're allowed to confuse them as much as you like, but I can correct you from time to time.
But you found something of value that surprised you and you were able to make some money from it, is that right?
Not make money from it, no.
It's a spiritual value.
A spiritual value. Was it something to do with an ancestor of yours?
Yes.
Was it a possession of this ancestor?
The cuckoo says we move on, so we may never know the answer to that.
Cuckoo says yes.
No, there's no possessions
No
involved.
possession. Is it a person of some sort?
Yes.
Person from way back, or
No, a person still living.
still living? A relative that you didn't know you had?
Yes.
Twin brother?
No.
More closer than that?
We can't be much closer than a twin brother.
Well, the audience sort of half clapped. Or
Yes, well, it was a
your
half-brother, they probably
sister.
thought. No. I'm sorry to be facetious, Fern. It's just your smile turns me on.
David wasn't in fact a twin sister.
No.
But he was a human twin we're talking about.
Not a twin.
Not a twin, a brother.
A brother.
A brother. And you didn't know of his existence, is that correct?
That's right.
Older than you?
Yes.
Were you told that you'd meet this man by a clairvoyant or something?
No.
Found a lot. You meet him at an auction or something, did you?
On this program, anything is possible. I think the clue means more than one.
Is it a double entendre with the word lot? I mean, is it a...
No, not really.
No?
It means more than one, actually.
No. Thank you for that. Oh, gosh.
Several brothers.
Thank you. He says, which I'm going to pretend I'm saying, did you have several brothers at your
Yes.
time? Were you one of quins or something, or twins, or more than one?
I don't have a twin.
Quin?
No.
Gosh.
It's not as close as that. You're so much
getting
on it.
hung
I
up
don't
on
think
it.
we can really draw it out any further because you really have got it when you say more than one brother, several brothers. I mean, you really have to...
Were you all fostered out or adopted as children?
I was, yes.
I'm taking up Lindsay's time.
No, I mean, you have solved the problem. Will you tell them, David, actually what your secret is?
Well, until about 3 months ago, I thought I was an only child, and now I find I've got 6 brothers.
Oh, my word.
6 brothers, how's that I mean, you don't... I mean, I think they knew as anything actually got it. Would you like to tell us your story? How did this all come about?
Well, I discovered when my adopted father died that I'd been his adopted son, and I found my adoption papers, and that led to the discovery of my proper birth certificate, which in turn led to the discovery of my family and 6 brothers. One, like me, was also adopted, and in the last few weeks we've also located him.
Great. But
so there are 7 of us.
How did you locate them in the first place? I mean, what was the train of events?
My wife traced my late mother's sister in Stratford-on-Avon.
Yeah.
And we went to see her, and then she produced some photographs showing the 5 brothers that she knew about, and we all met, and it just happened that the day we all met was my birthday.
And I wish we had all the brothers, but we don't in the studio, but we've got some of the brothers.
3 of them along.
3 of them. Could we meet the brothers now, ladies and gentlemen? Ian, how did you feel when it turned out that you had a brother?
Surprised at first, but absolutely marvellous afterwards. Most marvellous moment of my life, really.
Really? Long lost brother. It's a rare thing.
It is.
And you're all getting together fairly soon, I think.
That's right, yes. We all met initially, well, all of us, except for Philip, who was in America at the time. We met David on his birthday. And Keith, the one we just discovered, or rediscovered, we're meeting up with him in the very near future. We don't know exactly when, but the sooner the better.
Twins? What you're...
Astonished. No.
Astonished? And...
Well, I became a seventh son, so I was quite amazed by
That's lovely. And are you all married? I mean, we don't have to find 7 brides for 7 brothers.
No, not quite.
No, it's a very warm and delightful story, and I'm glad you shared it with us. Thank you very much for being our guest on Top Secret. Well, that's all we had time for today, so thanks to our contestants and to our panel, Chris and Floella, Alfred and Lindsay. And from me, until next time, take care and good night.